You peer out to the deserted mountain pass ahead of you. It has been aptly nicknamed Death Road by the locals. 3 people who were traveling alone have disappeared here without a trace. Now you're here, and somehow the weight of your axe is not a comfort. The looks on your companions' faces say they feel the same way. You take a deep breath in and step out of your cover onto the path. Slowly, cautiously, you make your way forward, teammates at your back, and trusted battle axe at the ready. It is not until you're in the center of the path and far from cover that you hear a deep and almost gurgling caw. And out of the corner of your eye, you catch the slight shadow of a humanoid skimming across the ground. You look up and you start to swing your weapon as this massive avian creature with the fanged maw of a stag and 2 huge black antlers swoops down at you, talons ready. Roll for initiative. Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Welcome, creatures, to another episode of Encounter This. I think our technical first one of 2021, dinosaurs being a bit of a flip-floppy mess, and that's sort of the fun of it. But today, I am your co-host, Freeman Eat Your Heart Out Eyston, and today, James the Duke of Bourbon will be taking us through the Peryton, and the Monster Manual, page 251. I'm pretty partial to Peryton, but I'm sure there's something else.
Yeah, so I have the pronunciation written in here, but I'll be honest, I wrote this episode like mid-December probably. So Peryton is the correct pronunciation according to my notes here.
Oh, okay. Peryton.
Yeah, so
That's weird. Emphasis on the E?
Yeah. Well, maybe not emphasis, but like it's a hearty. So I'll be slipping into my usual Central East Coast slur and just referring to them as Perytons.
Perytons. I like Peryton. It's simple.
Yeah, and it's clean.
I think getting caught up on that Y is not important.
Yeah, and I think that Y is where the hard E comes from, because it's Peryton, so cool. Peryton. We are still hitting the hard E with Peryton, but it's not a 2-syllable word, I don't think.
No, fair enough. Well, I mean, at least for once, we instinctually agree on the pronunciation.
That might be because I've said it at the table a few times, and I've just incepted it into your brain.
It's very possible.
So these are a creature that I have a passing familiarity with. I've run them once or twice before, and I had a lot of fun running them, and there's a lot of good memories from my table from running them. So I chose them to start off 2021. Sorry, I had to consult my calendar there. That's not a start of the year thing for me. That's an everyday thing for me.
Yeah. It's been a long holiday season there, listeners.
Yep. These creatures come to us all the way from first edition, appearing in 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. And I was thinking about this as I was writing this, and I don't know if this is factual or not, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe so many of these creatures have been omitted from 4th edition. A, because 4th edition was supposed to be more of like an online program, and it would have been harder to show things in 3-dimensional, so getting that Z-axis for the fly would have been more difficult. Or because I believe the system had a much shorter lifespan than either 3rd edition or any of the previous editions.
Right. So do you imagine that maybe they were planned for another book, but just never
I think
got
that
to
might have something to do with it, but the way the tactics are written for 4th edition, that could have something to do with it as well, because it is really like hardcore grid-based system, and it's very difficult to mimic a Z-axis on a grid.
Right.
Online it's relatively difficult to mimic a Z-axis.
Yeah.
So That's my speculation. I don't exactly know the years when 4th edition was technically supported. I am ready for any of the listeners out there to correct me, but I believe 5th edition is already either creeping up on or past how long 4th edition was out. I don't think 4th edition was out too much more than like 7 or 8 years. But let's get into the physical description of these creatures.
Yeah, tell me about these weirdos.
So weirdo is right. These are a chimeric creature, which are an amalgamation creature, which we've touched on before. Mm-hmm. These ones in particular have the dark green feathers of a raptor. That's the bird, not the veloso that we touched on in last episode.
Fairly appropriate, despite that, though.
Yep, exactly. Males have a light blue feathered chest, and females have a pale brown. So there's a lot of second and third lore going into all these descriptions here.
Okay,
I've amalgamated all this stuff that I thought was interesting or that I liked. Mm-hmm. The defining feature of the Peryton is that they have the head of a stag with purple or blue-black fur, so it's very, very dark. Mm-hmm. Large protruding fangs, and glittering, glowing orange or red eyes. On top of their head, they have strong, sharp, jet black antlers. If you see this creature from the sky, you're more likely to see the shadow of a human than the shadow of a Peryton. So it actually doesn't project its own shadow. It projects that of a human being or a humanoid.
Oh, I vaguely remember that when we first encountered these guys.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun describing this encounter. I think it was one of my first ones where I really, really got my rocks off in the description.
What a really strange phenomenon to have for this creature to have. Really cool.
And they are about 2 meters or 7 feet tall, with a wingspan of 1.5 meters or about 5 feet. So they're not small creatures. They're medium. Much smaller than an actual stag, but they'll still fuck you up.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of different origin myths in the D&D lore. So the first is the very simple scholarly one, and it's that they first believed Perytons were humans who had been transformed due to a curse.
Okay.
Relatively straightforward. It explains the humanoid shadow as well as some other things we'll touch on in a second here. There is a famous bardic legend of an adulterous man whose wife cut out the heart of the younger, more beautiful consort. The wife then ate the heart to forever win her husband's love.
Oof.
It's actually succeeded, believe it or not, until her deeds were exposed, upon which she was hanged, and the lingering magic in her turned a bird feasting on her remains into the very first Peryton.
That's such a bardic tale. You know, it's very mysterious and macabre. You can kind of just hear a bard singing that in the corner of the tavern, everyone kind of cheering and then getting a little dour and then probably a little spooked.
Definitely, it has elements of like the Banshee song that we talked about in a previous episode, and very, very dark roots, like you said.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought of right away with just the simple scholar explanation that they were humans transformed by a curse. I was thinking right away harpies. They're another hideous, deformed monstrosity, winged monstrosity.
Yeah. I guess as implied by that, they are in fact carnivorous birds. Elves, half-elves, and humans are their preferred prey, and they are absolutely relentless and single-minded until that prey has been killed. So they believe the Perytons are about as intelligent as a human being. So I guess 10 or plus 0 is the average. Mm-hmm. The problem is the scholars don't want to get close enough to them to actually study them, but they think they can even understand common, and that they may have a language of their own made up of bird screeches and humanoid screams.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah. So these things are driven to kill. These are borderline apex predators. Mm-hmm. The idea is that in the Peryton mind, killing and eating a perfect fresh heart will give them the opportunity to ascend to a higher form of being.
Oof.
With that said, only humans can have a perfect heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, though it'll still kill other creatures.
So this is what scholars suspect is true? Or this is what is true? That Perytons believe this.
This is what scholars suspect is true, but it has been written as fact in the 2e lore.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the idea is that they would never eat the heart of an elf, and I suspect this is due to that particular bardic tale that we touched on being about elves in previous generations.
Right.
So the adulterous elf could never have a perfect heart.
Gotcha. And I guess, I mean, surely it's perfect in a more metaphorical sense, not quite literally, as in a nice healthy heart, when they describe it as perfect. Although, what's a perfect heart, and why is it only humans? I'm assuming they didn't explain that.
No, they definitely didn't, and I imagine it's more of chasing the dragon kind of thing than an actual existent possibility.
Right. So there's just this constant belief that eating a fresh and perfect heart is what will cause them to ascend. So they're ever seeking it, never really finding it. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you feel like that implies that there's a euphoric sort of aspect to the consuming of the heart?
I'm glad you asked. The consuming of a fresh heart has a direct impact on the mating ritual.
Oh,
so
okay.
Female Perytons are not fertile unless they eat a fresh humanoid heart, and they'll only remain fertile for 13 to 18 hours after consumption.
Oh, wow.
So it's directly paired into their reproduction.
So it does something when they do consume it that whether it's euphoric or whether it's something in the heart that causes them to affect them physically, or even if it's just their own mind and belief of the consumption that causes a shift in their physiology that allows them to be fertile. That's really cool. I actually really like that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take on it. And I like this as well. They lay eggs with shells as hard as metal.
Oh, what kind of metal?
It didn't say, but I'd imagine steel.
Liquid mercury.
It can't be an iron heart.
Yeah, I don't know.
So after they eat the heart, in 5th edition lore specifically, the shadow changes back into its actual form as opposed to its humanoid form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's that. It eats the heart, it's able to reproduce, and then its shadow changes to its form. They tend to hunt and nest in groups of 2 to 8, preferring temperate climates like forests, mountains, hills, though they can survive in colder climates and are known to exist throughout the spine of the world. And there is, in fact, mention of them in Icewind Dale. I can confirm.
Okay. All right.
So they tend to prey on people who are walking alone on mountain roads, which causes people to avoid this because they know that normal weapons won't do as much damage to a Peryton. Though they do see like settlements of people as renewable resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's listed in the 5e book that like they don't come out and say it, but like a common adventure hook will be like, come fucking get rid of this. Like
these bastards. They found the village and they won't go away. They keep picking off our children. For fuck's sake.
There's your adventure hook for the day, listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. Also a good way to, spoiler alert, kill your first level party real fast.
I don't think you guys were first level. I think you were level appropriate.
So that's what I mean, though. If it's your adventure hook and you're starting at first level, you're going to kill them.
Oh, I mean, I don't think an adventure hook has to start your campaign.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Here's your adventure. I don't know. I mean, that's me being pedantic and how I believe that word is used in this particular game system.
Totally. Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for D&D lore. There's not... It's all really good and interesting, but there's not a lot there. There is more on the Forgotten Realms wiki, listeners. If you guys are interested, it goes into like depth about their ecology and stuff like that. But a lot of that stuff is counterintuitive to the 5e specifically stuff. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I wanted to mention was there are a couple of fun facts here. The first is that 1128 DR was the year of the Peryton. I legitimately have no idea why, and I could not figure out why. Forgotten Realms does not do a particular good job of that.
Good old D&D and their little useless tidbits.
Yeah, exactly. The second one I think is actually useful is that griffins are their only natural predator, which is... I love that. I love the idea of griffins being a predator. I never think about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're like majestic dog birds, but...
But yeah, I mean, why not? You know, I think we often think of them as, you know, sort of honorable flying mounts of some kind that are trained to be mounts, but like, you know, they definitely occur in the wild, so they would have to prey on something.
For sure. And this is they're a natural enemy of the Perytons. So
Cool.
I like that. I like it when mythical creatures are natural enemies.
Yeah, like, well, what are you doing in this sky? That's my sky.
So, cultural lore, I'm sure you listeners guessed it. This is from our boy, Jorge Luis Borges.
Love this guy.
We talk about this guy so much. I think that somebody must have gotten Gary the book of imaginary beings when he was a kid. I feel like he just rewrote this book with stats.
Yeah, pretty much.
So obviously they first appear in the Book of Imaginary Beings from 1957. There will be yet another link in the show notes. However, this is where it starts to get a little interesting. And just a little bit. I wish it was so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Perytons are from a long-lost medieval manuscript. There's exactly zero evidence of this other than Jorge Luis Borges' comments in his footnotes.
Okay. Yeah.
They are, in fact, stags or deer, the head, neck, and antlers, and forelegs, with the plumage and wings and hindquarters of a large bird. So I've sent you a photo
That's amazing.
of one of the wilds. I believe that's a deer. That doesn't really come across as a stag.
That's definitely not photoshopped. No
Definitely
way.
not. No, that's on the Wikipedia page. That's the Wikipedia profile.
No kidding. Oh
photo.
my God, that's so funny.
So that'll be on our Instagram. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks like it was edited on a cell phone from 2007.
Pretty much, yeah. It's either that or it's a really funny taxidermy and someone just put it on a hill.
That's kind of what I want it to be so much, like the jackalope, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. The ones in Jorge Luis Borges' book, I think I'm saying that correctly, they cast the shadow of a man until they eat a man. Then they show their own shadow, similar to the way they work in 5e.
Sure, yeah.
This is what I want more on, is according to imaginary beings, they were originally from Atlantis. When an earthquake destroyed Atlantis, they just flew away.
Like, oh, well, cities in the ocean, might as well find some new places to live, finally.
Pretty much, yeah.
Weird, okay.
Yeah, and there are a couple of real-world references from Borges here. One is that a Sibyl once said that Perytons would lead to the downfall of Rome. The source on this makes me highly uncomfortable, but I really like the idea of this, and I had to look up what a Sibyl was, so that's pretty cool. They are female oracles.
Oh, I feel like I knew this, and let me guess real quick. Are they? Weren't they underage, really young teenage girls, and they were kept high on hallucinogenics?
Probably. I didn't really go that deep in it.
Yeah, and they were they'd lived these really fucked up lives, and they just basically went insane, and they were considered oracles.
As far as I know about oracles themselves, yes.
Yeah.
The most famous being the Oracle of Delphi. The idea here is that this was just a Roman oracle.
Okay.
So probably, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Or they were just grifters, I guess, old world grifters.
Yeah.
Really good at telling you what was gonna or fortune tellers, I guess might be.
Really
I mean, potato.
Give you the daily horoscope.
Yeah, potato, fortune teller, grifter. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
The only surviving real-world reference to Perytons outside of our boy Borges is the battle standard of a particular Duke of Bourbon. I could not find which one, where the Peryton is of the battle standard. I could not find a photo of it. I could not find out which Duke of Bourbon it was, and the exact origins of this creature still remain unclear, because there's no way this fucking Duke of Bourbon just made up this bitey bird stag and threw it on his battle standard. There's more there, but we have no fucking idea what it is.
Hilarious. A strange point of order that I'm really quite sure, I don't know full details, but I'm quite sure this is true, is that what you read there, Duke of Bourbon, it's actually Bourbon or Bourbon, when it's considered the European royalty, and Bourbon as the whiskey, as far as I know, is either entirely unrelated or is like lost to history. And so the fact they're spelled the same but pronounced differently is like just like a coincidence.
Okay. Kind of like convergent evolution.
Yeah, and I feel like I actually learned that, I think, from watching watching a really cool show called Foyle's War. It's a World War II crime drama. And I think I heard the name in there at one point as like a royal lineage. And then also playing the game Metro 2033. It all takes place in Russia, but there's a character nicknamed Bourbon, and we always thought it was a friend of the show, Corey Nash. We'd always joke about how it was just a really bad Russian pronunciation of the word bourbon, because he's like, "Oh, Bourbon," and it's like really outrageous. But I think it's actually just more rooted in the fact that that's how it's pronounced in the European line.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a duchy, but specifically the Dukes of Bourbon are from France, so that makes a lot more sense.
For sure, yeah.
It's a region of Burgundy. Again,
that would make sense.
Prepared to be corrected on it, so you're probably right. It probably is Bourbon.
Bourbon.
It's spelled bourbon. That's not my fault.
It's spelled bourbon. Yeah. What a lovely beverage.
So that brings us to the differences between the real world and the D&D lore, and the only big one that I could see was that Perytons and 5e aren't from an ancient underwater civilization.
Yeah.
I'm sure D&D has an Atlantis, because that feels like a missed opportunity if they don't. But that's about all I could come up with. They're really similar. They eat hearts. Well, I mean, I guess the one in 5e specifically eats hearts,
but they both seek out people, humans, at the very least, and devour them and kill them. So it's all more or less the same, and the shadow thing's very, very much the same there.
Yeah, the combination of deer and bird is a little bit different, but it's close enough that I'm willing to call this one a draw.
Yeah, I actually like the fact that both in the 5e lore and the cultural lore, that the origins are both just come from very dubious sources. Scholars suspect, and a bard's tale, like, right, that's reliable.
Yeah,
and then of course we've got our old pal Gary. Are we calling him Gary now?
I mean, I feel like if he was still alive, I feel like we'd be on a first name basis, and that's not arrogance. I just truly believe that's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
I truly believe if you called him up, he'd just be like, "Why are you calling me Mr. Gygax? Like, my name is fucking Gary."
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Like he just gives off that energy. Like all the interviews I've seen with him and all the videos and all the stories I've heard of people who knew him, he just gave off that. Yeah, like his name is Gary. Like,
I just love that. Like, he's pulling from George or Jorge. I'm not even sure. I can't remember where he's from at this point, and so which one would be more appropriate. But yeah, he's just, even he picked from a dubious source, like you said.
Yeah.
So supposedly from a long lost medieval manuscript. That's enough said. Moving on. I love it. It's just another hilarious consistency.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good creature. I quite like them overall. Doing the research often makes me like creatures more than I used to, but I don't know. For some reason, I did, even so with these guys. And, there's clearly not much in either aspect, but they're neat. They're neat creatures.
They are neat creatures, for sure.
You know what else is neat there, good buddy? The fact that we've gotten this done so far in under 30 minutes.
Amazing.
Oh, and this delicious blackmail stout.
So allow me to give you the first on-air bad news of 2021.
The floor recognizes Mr. Eyston.
I found out the other day that blackmail is no longer a milk stout. And it might have not been a milk stout for almost a year now. They don't do the lactose in it anymore.
We're going to cut that.
It's still blackmail. It's still a Northwest Stout.
Yeah, I have actually looked at cans while we're recording this bit and seen milk stout. The one I'm currently looking at actually does not say milk stout.
Right? So, I mean, someone just told me this in passing the other day, and the first thing that went to my head was like, oh shit, we keep calling it the blackmail Northwest Milk Stout. But like, how long ago did they stop? I don't know.
So I'm going to go just right out and fire on all cylinders, and this is Strangefellow's fault. If they sponsored the show, we would have accurate information about this.
You were absolutely correct. This is the fault of our non-sponsor, Strange Fellows. The misinformation now tied to their brand is on them.
I'm tempted to give the sponsorship slot to Cole Harbor next week.
Oh my God.
That's not true. That's a funny joke that I'm actually going to leave in. Cole Harbor is garbage beer, and if you ever come to Vancouver, don't drink it.
I honestly couldn't even name you a Cole Harbor beer, so I'm going to believe you. I must be avoiding it. The point is, this is Strangefellow's fault. Yes, couldn't agree more. And with this unfortunate news and revelation in regards to branding and accidentally telling false truths to our listeners, let's drink this beer and get into the mechanics.
I hate that now that you've brought that up, it doesn't taste as good to me.
It's still good. It's more dry, I think. But
it is more dry. Yeah.
It is more dry. Yeah.
Mechanics. So they are a CR2, so they're pretty low key. Mm-hmm. HP 33, AC 13.
HP's pretty high.
Yeah, it is pretty high. And you guys had a lot of problems with that specifically. They're medium, chaotic, evil monstrosities. Mm-hmm. They understand Common and Elvish. They have damage reduction to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical. So that HP is effectively doubled at second level.
Yep.
Love it. Land speed of 20, so they could like hop around like weird birds do. Yeah. And they've got a fly speed of 60 feet, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that fly speed is what really is the kicker at a CR2.
It's actually super not. Wait till we get to their abilities. That fly speed kind of doesn't even matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Their stats are pretty mediocre across board. Strength is +3, Dex, Con, Wiz are +1, Intelligence is -1, Charisma is 0. So you can either listen to that back with your volume up, because I feel like I muttered that, or you can just look in the monster manual because you all own that. The abilities. This is where things start to get bad. And I do mean that. I really don't think these are a CR2 creature, and we'll discuss when I get through the stat block here. But I think you're going to agree pretty quickly, and you can see why it nearly TPK'd you guys. Well, I don't want to say it nearly TPK'd you guys, but it gave you some real problems.
Yeah.
The first ability, and keep in mind these are abilities, not attacks, so it can do multiple abilities in one round if they do not have a consequence.
Right.
The first one is called Dive Attack. If flying and dives at least 30 feet straight towards the target and hits, it does an extra 2d8 damage. The one directly below that is Flyby, which means it does not provoke when it flies out of reach.
Yeah.
It has Keen Sight and Smell, which kind of whatever. Advantage on perception checks for sight or smell. Sure. I mean, it makes sense mechanically because they hunt humans. But honestly, compared to Flyby and Dive Attack, it does nothing for me.
Yeah. So I see it's got multi-attack, though.
Oh, yeah. The attacks are pretty ruthless, too.
Yeah. So we're looking at, you got a Gore here, +5 to hit, 1d8 +3, and then a Talon, +5 to hit, 2d4 +3. Man, that can really add up. I mean, this is clearly a creature that when it's hunting, if you want to play it like the most deadly, it's not flying it super high, We're looking at that same thing we were talking about with dinosaurs, the dive attack, and I think it was the trample or some such, where it's clearly they got to move a minimum of half their speed in order to get advantage of that. So they're going to have to fly low, but also somehow keep their distance and make sure that some target is in that 30-foot range away from them. And then when they can be extremely deadly.
Yeah.
They're diving in, hitting you for 1d8 plus 3, 2d4 plus 3, and 2d8 on top of that.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
You don't think that's accurate?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe it is, and if you're ruthless, it probably is. The way I played it is that it flies the 30 feet straight down, does the 2d4 plus 3 for the talons, and the 2d8 extra, and then it flies 30 feet away with the flyby.
Right. So you don't give it the multi-attack on that.
With you guys, I did not give it the multi-attack. I only gave it the multi-attack if it was moved in and stayed there. If it was flying out of reach, I did not give it the multi-attack.
Gotcha. Okay. So by 5e rules, we definitely both know, especially for PCs, so you can break up your movement and any of your attacks however you want. There's no penalizing that. So you can like run up to one guy, attack, and then move again and attack. You know, might provoke in between and stuff, but these guys are obviously going to avoid that. But that is legit by the rules, at least for PCs.
Yeah. So I think the way these guys are written, the way you're supposed to use them, is they dive attack, and then you multi-attack, and then you multi-attack, and then you fly by. So you fly out of reach, and then you rinse and repeat. Right. I decided to give them 2 abilities in one round and just in and out, as I wanted to fuck with that. That was one of the first combats we did that was really memorable, and it was also still while we were doing Theater of the Minds. There was no battle map. There was no grid.
Right.
It was a very, very difficult combat for you guys.
Yeah, and we sort of have been vaguely referencing it so far, but for the listeners, like this was like our probably like 3rd or 4th encounter in the very first campaign that you ran and I played in. Would you say?
It was definitely an earlier one. I cannot confirm, or I don't think it was that early.
Okay.
I think it was a little bit later. Yeah.
But regardless, it was very deadly. It was someone went down pretty fast. I recall. I think someone almost died. That was our first real scare. I feel like, other than the banshee nonsense that was just being foolish. But this was like a proper combat, and
this was one of the first ones that I wrote, and it took place after we did the Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I know that my fiance Jess, she's got really solid memories of this, and she brings it up pretty often. I think she went down, stabilized with the natural 20, and then just hid under one of the dead bodies of the Peryton and slung spells up at the other ones who were flying up and down.
Right. Yeah.
It was a wild. I just
remember being a hell of a thing. I think the way the way you like it's all, the specifics are pretty vague to me at this point. I'm sure you remember more because you were running that, but
I don't.
The way you but I mean the strategy you said you used, it seems like a much more fair thing, because I really do think these guys could be far more deadly if you use them by the exacting rules. But it also doesn't make sense to just use a stat block in the most min-maxed way. There was 2 of them, right? When we fought,
I think there was 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay.
Yeah, I learned very quickly not to throw just one monster at you.
Yeah, it's bad news. But
I think this was the first time we ran into DR.
Mm-hmm.
So
again, other than the Banshee,
you guys didn't really fight the Banshee though.
No,
Banshee
not really.
just
I think I took one swing and it was like, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm a level 1 barbarian. This is not going to do it.
So I think this was the first full combat that I roped you into, where you did where you encountered DR, and I mean that, listeners. I roped them into this. This scene was pretty much. The way it played out in my mind was them running through a field and the Perytons attacking them.
I remember that, and I remember you emphasizing the danger of going into the field, and we decided to do it anyway.
I don't remember telegraphing that at all, but I remember.
I think I remember that because I vaguely recall there were like maybe several directions to go in.
Okay.
And you were like, and I think this was called, you were like called it the killing fields or some shit like that. And then that kind of give us some pause.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, do we see anything?
I never thought I was that good at telegraphing stuff.
Oh, I think you might have. Maybe I'm just mixing up with another story I heard. I have no idea. Yeah. But like that rings a bell to me. I feel like I remember going in there and being like, okay, we got to be careful.
Yeah. But this was just straight up that raptor scene out of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Yeah.
Like that's how I wrote it. Is there was no cover for them other than in the tall grass.
Right. Yeah. I remember the tall grass at being a field. I remember that very much. Yeah.
Like this was that scene from Jurassic Park. So do not be afraid to steal from amazing, amazing movies. And put it into your game. It works.
Amazing. Oh my God. Killing me.
I'm just going to keep bringing it back to dinosaurs for the rest of the year, I think. Just try and get one reference in every episode.
Yeah, I mean, you got anything else?
I was going to ask you if you had any experience with them outside of that game.
No, definitely never used them. I remember wanting to when I was in Australia, but never getting around to it. And then, yeah, I think just off the top of my head how I would use it, I'd probably create like a 2 Peryton encounter to start. And, and I would have like one dive attacking, and then one actually gets down on the ground, and the other one doesn't come down until the first one is slain. Or maybe they swap every couple rounds if they manage to survive. So I'd keep like one, really like being bothersome from the air, and one on the ground, multi-attacking.
Okay. I think that makes sense. I might have done that with you guys too. Mm-hmm. I might have there's only so many ways you can keep a barbarian down at second level. So I think I might have done that with one of them.
Yeah. And it's really tough when, obviously they only have a 20-foot land speed. So they're at a disadvantage, while they're on the ground technically. Unless you play it like you, where that's only when they get the multi-attack. But, it's the sort of thing that you have to be very careful, especially at lower level parties, not to just like let them fly around and dive bomb and get away and just slowly kill them. Not every party has the ability to take something down from the air, So you gotta make the situation fair to your party at the very least.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way in a couple of games. Like even I to this day have played characters who have no ranged abilities. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. They're pretty simple, basic creature, but a lot of fun to run, a lot of good lore there. More on the Forgotten Realms wiki if you want to look it up. Yeah,
I mean, good flavor, cool creature. I guess the only other thing I have is looking at the artwork from 1 through 3 and 5. They're fairly consistent. I think with one exception, I feel like the 3E art, that face is very wolf-like as opposed to stag-like. I feel.
Yeah, I can see it. I think it might just be how it's shaped.
Yeah.
But they all have like deer faces with fangs.
Yeah.
I get it. I can see it though. I really like the 5e art. I really love the coloring on it. It's almost like a watercolor.
Yeah, and its teeth are like particularly terrifying in that art as well. There's a part of me that keeps mixing these guys up with like a hippogriff and thinking that they're 4-legged. And then I look at the artwork and you see the land speed and you're like, well, obviously they're not they're 4-legged. Well, sweet. Perytons. I like it. Nice, simple, breezy episode. That was good. I like that, James. Thank you.
Quick and easy in the books. If you like that, you can hit us up on patreon.com/encounterpod. $5 a month will get you a handwritten letter and access to our show notes. You can see how we recorded these episodes. $10 a month, you can suggest a creature like our previous dinosaur suite, Illithids before that, and some other things we talked about in the year of our Lord 2020.
The year of the Peryton.
The year of the Peryton. If you just want to hit us up on social media and tell us whether or not you liked it, what we got wrong, if you want to tell us why it's the year of the Peryton, you can find me on Twitter at EncounterPod. You can find us both on Facebook at facebook.com/EncounterPod. Or you can hit up Freeman or see this really weird Photoshop taxidermy deer eagle at our Instagram page at /encounter.pod. And our home on the web is encounterthis.ca, where you can find all of our past episodes as well as links to our show notes in the blog section. So just find the show, click on it, and then you'll find all the show notes. So this one in particular will have the link to Imaginary Beings from 1957, as will, I feel like, every other episode we've recorded.
So. Man, we've plugged that book so many times.
It's good, though. Remember to rate and review on your platform of choice. It helps us out, really helps new people see us, or tell a friend about us. I mean, why not introduce somebody to something new in January of 2021 or wherever in the future you're listening to this? Everybody needs more Perytons in their life. They're mysterious and mythological. I am so sleepy. This outro is so bad.
It's fine.